It is both an honor and a privilege to invite His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Distinguished Secretary General of the United Nations, distinguished heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to Azerbaijan. Many of our guests are visiting Azerbaijan for the first time, so I hope that they will have a chance to get acquainted with our country, its history, traditions, and culture. I would like to thank Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. António Guterres, and the Secretariat of UNFCCC for their support to Azerbaijan on the path to COP29. I congratulate my dear brother, President of UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and all his team with landmark UAE consensus achieved at COP28 in Dubai and their support in preparation to COP29 in Baku. Last December, by unanimous decision of almost 200 countries, Azerbaijan was honored to host COP29. We consider this decision as a sign of respect to our country, as well as appreciation of our active role on international arena. Azerbaijan is a country where East and West, North and South meet, and this is not only about geography. We can build political, cultural, energy, trade, transportation bridges between different international actors. Mega projects initiated by Azerbaijan already changed the energy and transportation maps of Eurasia and led to establishment of fruitful multinational cooperation formats. Despite 30 years long occupation by Armenia of almost 20% of internationally recognized territories of Azerbaijan, despite ethnic cleansing and deportation of 1 million Azerbaijanis from their ancestral lands, we managed to build a strong country with self-sufficient economy and independent policy. 4 years ago, we celebrated the historical victory in the Second Karabakh War. A year ago, we fully restored our sovereignty in accordance with UN Charter, international law, UN Security Council resolutions, which remained on paper for 30 years. We implemented these resolutions ourselves, restored international law, justice, and put an end to Armenian occupation. As the president of COP29, Azerbaijan will do its best to find common understanding between developed and developing countries, between Global South and Global North. For 4 years, by unanimous decision of 120 countries, Azerbaijan successfully chaired the non-aligned movement, the second after United Nations International Institution. Azerbaijan is also an active member of Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which unites almost 60 countries. With 10 members of the European Union, Azerbaijan signed agreements and adopted declarations on strategic partnership. So all this allows us to think that we may be very helpful and useful in building bridges between different important actors on the issue of climate change. Azerbaijan is an active supporter of multilateralism. At the same time, we play an active role in intercultural dialogue. Together with United Nations Alliance of Civilizations, every second year we organize in Baku intercultural dialogue forum. Multiculturalism is our state policy and at the same time is our lifestyle. People of Azerbaijan, regardless of their ethnic or religious identity, live in peace and harmony as one family. Now I would like to say a couple of words about Azerbaijan's green agenda. Our technical potential for renewable energy is estimated at 135 gigawatt onshore and 157 gigawatt offshore. Last year, Masdar from UAE inaugurated the biggest in our region solar power plant of 230 megawatts. Aqua Power from Saudi Arabia is now at the moment constructing wind power station of potential of 240 megawatts. During COP29, agreement will be signed with BP from UK to build 240 megawatts solar power station in the district of Jabrail, which was liberated from Armenian occupation 4 years ago. And this project will provide decarbonization of one of the biggest oil and gas terminals in the world, the Sangachal terminal. By 2030, we plan to build solar, wind, and hydro power stations of approximately 6 gigawatts. But this is not all our plans. 10 gigawatts renewable energy projects, contracts and MOUs have been signed. And also we look at the export markets and work actively with our partners in order to implement another important energy security project, the Black Sea Caspian energy cable. This will allow us to export green energy to Europe, and the technical potential of this cable, and by the way, feasibility study is going to be ready very soon, is close to 4 gigawatts. But again, this is only the beginning. Our green agenda also covers different regions of Azerbaijan. So Nakhchivan, Karabakh, and Eastern Zangezur regions of Azerbaijan are declared as green energy zones, and this is about a quarter of our territory. Now, a couple of words I'd like to say about another segment of energy security, which is oil and gas. I understand that this topic is not very popular at climate change conference, but without that, my comments would not be complete. Just to begin with information, the world's first industrial oil well was drilled in Azerbaijan, in Baku, in 1846. It is situated not far from this place. Maybe it will take 10-15 minutes drive. The first offshore oil well also was drilled by Azerbaijani oilmen in the Caspian Sea in the middle of 20th century. In 19th century, Azerbaijan produced more than a half of global oil production. And if then some Western politicians and media called us a petrostate, probably that would have been acceptable. But when they call us petrostate now, today, this is not fair, and it only demonstrates lack of political culture and knowledge. Today, Azerbaijan's share in global oil production is 0.7. In global gas production is 0.9%. But fake news media of the country, which is #1 oil and gas producer in the world and produces 30 times more oil than Azerbaijan, call us petrostate. They'd better look at themselves, or at least at their neighbor, which produces 10 times more oil than Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan's share in global gas emissions is only 0.1%. I have to bring these figures to the attention of our audience because right after Azerbaijan was elected as a host country of COP29, we became a target of coordinated, well-orchestrated campaign of slander and blackmail. Western fake news media and so-called independent NGOs and some politicians, as if we're competing in spreading disinformation and false information about our country. To accuse us that we have oil is the same like to accuse us that we have more than 250 sunny days a year in Baku. Countries should be judged by other criteria. For instance, level of unemployment. In Azerbaijan, it is 5.4%. Level of poverty, it is 5.2%. Our green agenda, I already described our plans. How countries manage their foreign debt. In Azerbaijan, it's only 7.5% of our GDP. So these are, and many other, important criteria which should be a basis for kind of evaluation of the country's performance, but not the country's natural resources, which are the gift of the God. I said it several months ago, and now all those who want, international media, to attack me, just quote me that I said that this is a gift of the God, and I want to repeat it today here at this audience. It's a gift of the God. Every natural resource, whether it's oil, gas, wind, sun, gold, silver, copper, all that are natural resources. And countries should not be blamed for having them and should not be blamed for bringing these resources to the market because the market needs them. The people need them. So this is my message, and as a president of COP29, of course, we will be a strong advocate for green transition, and we're doing it, but at the same time, we must be realistic. Also, another point of accusation is that 2 years ago, Azerbaijan and European Commission signed declaration on strategic partnership in the field of energy. But it was not our idea. It was a proposal of European Commission. The President of European Commission came to Baku 2 years ago to sign this document with us because they needed our gas due to the change geopolitical situation. And they asked us to help. And we said, okay, we always are ready to help if our help is needed. And we said, okay, we will help Europe with their energy security. And when we signed this declaration 2 years ago, the number of the countries which were receiving our gas, European countries, was equal to 2. So now it's 8 countries. 8 out of 10 countries which have access to Azerbaijani gas are Europeans. And European Commission also asked us to double gas supply to Europe by 2027, and this is reflected in the declaration which was signed by President of European Commission and myself 2 years ago in Baku. Unfortunately, double standards, a habit to lecture other countries, and political hypocrisy became kind of modus operandi for some politicians, state-controlled NGOs, and fake news media in some Western countries. And my last message is to those who for almost 1 year were advocating for boycott. They used all the tools in their possession to launch a campaign to boycott COP29 in Baku. And I have bad news for them. We have 72,000 registered participants from 196 countries. Among them, 80 presidents, vice presidents, and prime ministers. So the world gathered in Baku, and we say to the world, welcome to Azerbaijan. Thank you.